Hello, good morning, everyone. Yesterday, we did some pages from the module 2 of technology. Okay, we'll be starting with the COSO guideline today. Okay. So, what happens is, in today's time in IT structure, COSO act as a guideline for those who are new startups who want to move from paper companies to the paperless companies. There are risks, and to overcome those risks and to provide proper controls in their own organization, they need a guidance, and that guidance is provided by the COSO. Now, COSO provides overall guideline. Some principles from the COSO are important from technology point of view. Principle 11, 13 and 14. So those three principles of the COSO guideline we will be discussing in this in this session. 620. Page number is 620. What is COSO? COSO is Committee of Sponsoring Organization. 5 associations in which IMA and this AICPA, they are 2. 5 such organizations, they came together and formed this guideline. Is this guideline compulsory? No, it's optional. Every company, it's a choice. But if you are following these guidelines and then you are mentioning in your annual reports also that we are following COSO guidelines, the trust of the people who have invested money in your organization, it grows higher. So, how to remember? COSO has 5 components which are remembered by the word crime. COSO, crime. CRIME. Further, these 5 components have 17 principles. We will do COSO in detail in internal controls. Here in technology, 3 principles are important. Principle 11, 13 and 14. 3 important principles are: number 1, Principle 11 is about access controls. Principle 13 is about the quality, that the information you are having in the organization should be of good quality. And Principle 14 is about communication, safe communication, quality communication within the organization. Okay. So there are 3 main principles: Principle 11, 13 and 14. Principle 11 is about access. There should be general controls over technology. Who can access, who can alter, such type of control should be present. Principle 13 talks about quality. Organizations should acquire, create, and use quality information to support internal controls. Do cost-benefit analysis to justify IT costs. Sometimes the cost of collection of information is more than the use of that information. In those cases, why will you collect that information? So for all the decisions in an organization, not just for this, otherwise also we always do cost benefit analysis. The cost should be less, benefit should be more. Principle 14 is about communication. Effective communication about internal controls, like what are the various internal controls. One of the internal control is segregation of duties, which should be applied at all levels of the organization. So communication of that policy, internal control policy, to board of directors, shareholders, or to the employees is very important. Okay. There is one illustration on page number 621. Let's read that. Spinal surgery clinic, a large group of physicians focusing on spinal surgery, recently had an outside firm perform an IT audit as recommended by SSC's board of directors. The findings resulted in recommendations that followed the COSO internal control integrated framework, principles 11, 13 and 14. Mostly about these principles he informed. As such, SSC invested in new technology that required user identities to be verified by multiple points of validation other than just a password in order to access patient accounts. Now, this is about access control, principle 11, that you have a 3-level verification. What is 3-level verification? sometimes if you log in, you put your email ID, you put your password, still it will say the OTP is sent on your phone. Then you put the OTP. This is the third step of verification. That is what they are saying. 3 steps of verification should be there. So this is access control principle 11. Additionally, SSC adopted a state-of-the-art data cleansing system in an effort to acquire and use error-free data. If you're talking about error-free data, improve the quality of data, you're talking about the principle 13 of COSO. After that, they're saying lastly, to address principle 14, SSC began performing regular reviews of key IT functions and started issuing monthly reports of internal control to the board of directors. This is communication. Communication with the board of directors, principle number 14. Like we have COSO, integrated framework given by 5 organizations, committee of the sponsoring organizations. Similarly, now one more is there, that is COBIT 2019. This is also a framework. It is developed by ISACA, Information System Audit and Control Association. It is a non-profit organization. COBIT is mostly for IT assets, managing, optimizing, and protecting the IT assets. COSO was for overall internal controls in the organization, but COBIT is basically based for the IT assets. It is a framework for the governance and management of enterprise information and technology aimed at whole enterprise. It is not just limited to IT department. What it means is, like I have written IT assets here, not just for the IT department, but for overall company, in overall organization, wherever control objectives for information and related technologies. It's on page number 612. COBIT stands for control objectives for information and related technology. It is not limited to just IT department, for whole enterprise. It makes a clear distinction between governance and management. COBIT also wants to divide that governance is different, management is different. Okay, which one is better? A wider concept, governance or management? Okay, first of all, tell me what is the, which one is a bigger concept, governance or management? Management. We will read the principles under COBIT now. You will realize that they have also made a clear distinction in the components of COBIT. Governance separate, and for management there are separate components. Okay, somebody was asking what is the requirement of these controls for IT audit. Like I said, suppose I am starting an organization. Okay, it requires private information or personal information of the employees, also their health related information, their financial accounts, Aadhaar card, everything is submitted to me. So I have uploaded on the portals. Then customers, clients, their data is also there. Everything is online, the transactions and all. Since I am working in such a IT governed area, what will happen if tomorrow some fraud happens, or hacking happens, or stealing of information happens? Since I am a new company, what should I follow or refer? For that, there are some guidelines which are provided by the organizations, like COSO guidelines are there. Then this COBIT, this is also a guideline for better framework, better structure in the organization, so that such faults or frauds do not happen. Nothing is mandatory. It's not mandatory. But if you're writing in your books that you're following it, then you have to 100% apply those things. Now see here, owners and shareholders, they are not present in the organization all the time. They invested money. After that, they delegated the power to the governing body, and the governing body is known as board of directors. Why they have delegated? Because they may not be available for day-to-day operations and all to take the decisions. Those decisions, that those operational decisions, they are taken by the board of directors. They are actually like a guiding light in the organization. Board of directors set a direction and monitor the work of the CEOs and the CFOs of the organization. Now, the board of directors can also sit maybe once in a week or once in a month, but that cannot help in running the company on daily basis. For that, they have CEOs and the CFOs. COSO is already covered, the three principles. Rest of the COSO is in internal controls. COBIT serves as a common language for the business and the IT. Okay, I'll see these sentences now. Why I have star marked these sentences? Sometimes these sentences only come as the MCQ questions. COBIT serves as a common language for business and IT. What serves as a common language for business and IT? COBIT. Yes, is the Chief Financial Officer, and CEO is the Chief Executive Officer. Now, this framework, the COBIT frameworks are guidelines. How can you provide guidelines? In the form of policies, standards, frameworks, regulations, publications. You can guide the people, okay, this is the right approach. These are the options available. So this COBIT framework, it is also a collection of standards, frameworks, regulations, and publications. See this whole system now. Governance system, COBIT, it is divided into two parts. Number one, IT governance system. Second is the IT governance framework. It is a combination of business and IT. This COBIT is used at all levels of management. This system of COBIT can be used at all levels of management. It touches both the business and the IT. Let's see the IT governance system first. This is on page number 622. Page number 622. Okay. These are all the principles. Like in COSO, there are 17 principles. Similarly, these are the principles divided into two parts. 6 principles are related to IT governance system and 3 principles are related to the IT governance framework. The first, if you see, is provides shareholders value, means more return should be provided. They try to reduce the level of risk in the organization if you are following the standards given by the COBIT. Second, holistic approach, overall development in the organization, not just in the form of profits and all, but people who are employees in your organization, they are also learning something, they are also growing, their skills are growing. Culture wise also, your organization is becoming more rich, the processes are latest and improved. So everywhere you are expecting a growth whenever you apply these frameworks. Third, dynamic governance system. It's not like once the rules and regulations you have written under COBIT and that will be followed for the rest of the life. It changes with the changing circumstances. If the external environment is changing accordingly, there is a scope that you can make the changes in the governance system also. Fourth, it separates governance and management. A clear distinction is there between governance and management. Tailored to enterprise needs, this COBIT framework, like in one thing we did that, like in ERP, remember, it is available in the form of Legos or the modules, and as per your needs, you can customize it. You can select 2 modules, 3 modules. Similarly, in COBIT framework, as per your needs, you can tailor it, you can customize it. These are, like I said, guidelines. Guidelines always assist you to do better. But as per your organization, the structure in your organization, you may feel that a little change is required, so you can customize it also. IT governance system, like the rules and regulations which you are following in your organization, the effect of that, we are saying it provides shareholder value, holistic approach is there when you are applying the COBIT system in your organization. Dynamic system, it's a dynamic system. Governance and management is different. IT governance framework. Framework is a concept behind it. There is no slight difference. You don't have to know the difference between these two. System is at all the levels how the work is done. That is a system. When different parts work together in the organization, what are the outcomes? That is your governance system. Framework is the concept clarity at the top. That is your framework. So tailored to the enterprise needs, you can customize the systems. Then end-to-end governance systems from top to bottom in the organizations, you are following it. It's not like top level management is following the COBIT, then at lower level managements, the rules and the regulations doesn't mean much. It cannot be possible at all levels. It is accepted. IT governance framework based on the conceptual model, focus on the key concept. You can customize it, okay? And it's the concept. Like I said, framework is always the concept. If I draw something in a flow chart, or I draw something as a para, let's give example. X minus Y is equal to Z. What is this? This is a concept behind it. It's like a framework. In my organization, X is always the double of Y. Can I change according to my organization? Yes, I can customize it. This concept also. I can also write it like this. X is double of Y. So why not Y? 2Y minus is equal to Z. So Y is equal to Z only in my organization. I can alter the behind the concept. Okay, this is something which they are telling you about in the based on the conceptual model, that there is a conceptual model based on which you are trying to introduce the IT level securities or something in your organization. Okay, next is open and flexible. Open and flexible. Isn't this flexible? Open and flexible. So same thing they are mentioning in the phase number 2, that you can, it's open and flexible. You can change, you can add the content, you can remove the irrelevant content from it. Alignment to the major standards. This COBIT is a guidelines. It is in addition to the major standards, the standards to which you have to comply. For example, I have written here HIPAA guidelines. You have to secure the health information. COBIT cannot. You are saying I'm following COBIT, so that is why I'm ignoring HIPAA. It's not possible. These guidelines are always in addition to the other major standards. Now, COBIT core is based on objectives. That is why in the name also you can see control objectives. This is control objectives. Control objectives, right? So this COBIT core is the primary, in the primary model, it is divided into 2 parts. IT management, they have done separate. IT governance, separate. IT management is having only one domain, one bifurcation. IT management has 4 domains. So total how many domains are there under COBIT core? There are total 5 domains under COBIT core. One is related to governance. The others are related to the management. Further, within these domains, there are 40 objectives. There are 40 objectives. If we have to draw a comparison, one is COSO. COSO has 5 components, crime, CRIME, and these components further have 17 principles. This is also integrated framework. Similarly, COBIT is based on objectives. O stands for objectives. COBIT objectives are divided into 5 domains. They are divided into 5 domains, in which one domain is related to your governance, and rest of the 4 domain is related to management. These domains have total 40 objectives. How the 5 domains look like? These are the 5 domains. You can remember these with the help of these EDM. Evaluate, direct, monitor. APO, align, plan, organize. BAI, build, acquire, implement. DSS, deliver, service, support. MEA, monitor, evaluate, assess. These are the 5 domains. The only possibility to remember, like I said, labor laws are there. Okay, then tax regulations are there, tax guidelines are there. So any government related or other mandatory guideline, SEC guidelines are there. If you are a public company, you have your shares being traded online, those guidelines you have to follow. COBIT cannot say ignore those. They are in addition. COBIT guidelines will be always in addition. Okay. So these are the 5 domains. Again, I'm telling you how to remember these. The only way to remember these is with the help of these short names: EDM, APO, BII, DSS, MEA. You will be able to remember the differences. The first one is related to governance. That's why I've written governance here. The rest are related to management. The first one, which is related to governance, is EDM, evaluate, direct, and monitor. What it means is those charged with governance, board of directors, they should evaluate the strategic objectives. And D is direct. To whom they will direct the board of directors? Direct the management. M is for monitor. And monitor what? Monitor whether objectives are met or not. So with me again, EDM, governance is EDM. Governance is EDM. Evaluate the strategic objectives. D, direct the management. M, monitor whether we are able to achieve those strategic objectives or not. Okay. Second is APO, align, plan, organize. APO is align, plan, organize. This is about IT overall strategy in the organization. Supporting activities. Management of data is very important as it ensures achievement of objectives. So in APO, aligning, planning, and organization and organize, we are talking about the overall strategies in the organization and the ways to achieve those strategies. Achieve those objectives. You have set objectives. How to achieve those objectives? You will plan the strategies, and then you will analyze that are you able to achieve those objectives. Okay, so this circle is covered under APO, under management, aligning, planning, and organization. You are aligning your strategies with whom? To achieve the company's overall objectives. Objective is one. After that, in whichever department you are in the organization, whatever strategies you are planning, that should be in alignment to the main goal of the company. Okay. So you align your goals, your strategies to the goals. You plan the strategies, you organize the strategies to achieve those objectives. Next is build, acquire, and implement. What should be built? IT solutions. There is a problem. The work is being done in 4 hours, because of which there is a delay in the work, because of which overtime by the employees is required. You are paying more to the employees because of the overtime jobs and all. So to overcome those problems in your organization, build, acquire, implement. Either build a software, if it is not possible, acquire it if it is available in the market, and implement them properly. Now, implementation can also be a whole software in one go or step by step. So implementation can also be decided based on the company's situation. After that, you have DSS, deliver, service, support. What is the delivery? Security to the IT services, delivery of IT services, and support of IT services. Suppose you have an IT department in the organization. So that IT department, how they are delivering the solution, service, delivery of IT services, whatever services you are providing. If the laptops or the computers in the organization, they are not working properly, then the IT department of your organization will come and correct it. So deliver service and support provided by the IT department, that comes under DSS, delivery services support. Finally, you have MEA, monitor, evaluate and assess. Monitor whole work, all these work which is done under COBIT, monitor them, evaluate the work done and assess where we are reaching. Let's read in detail. So the first one we have done, direct management, monitor whether the objectives are met or not. Let's see align, APO, align, plan and organize. Management of data is very important as it ensures achievement of objectives. You are defining the strategies to reach the objectives here. After that, next is BAI, build, acquire and implement IT solutions. What we want in IT and where we want. Sometimes, normally, let's say in this organization, mostly the work is done by the employees, but there are some repetitive tasks. That repetitive tasks are 1 or 2. So for those 1 or 2 steps, only the IT solution is required. So you have to identify those areas where IT solutions are required. We will do these objectives later. Okay. Now, this is DSS, deliver services and support. These are the services or the deliveries which I'm saying IT department is provided in the organization. Think like that. And these objectives we will discuss later. MEA, monitor, evaluate and assess. Whatever your IT goals are in the organization, they should be in conformance, means in alignment with the company's objectives. Remember, in any organization, always, not just for COBIT, otherwise also, first of all, you have the vision of the organization, mission of the organization, company's objectives are there, overall goals of the company. After that, department-wise, whatever the goals are, they should be in alignment with the company's objectives. Only then the success is possible. Okay. And then you, in monitoring, you monitor the work. Then you evaluate. How will you evaluate the work? You will compare your expected performance, your budget with the actual performance. And then you try to assess what changes can be done, where we need to rectify. These most direct questions are very rare in CMA and CPAs. Direct questions hardly comes. Mostly they will come in the form of case study. That is why I was saying, whenever we are like this topic we are discussing today, after that you have a full week now for these module 1 and 2. Try to solve the maximum questions on the Backers portal. It will give you different view. It will try to change whatever concept you have learned, how to apply that concept that you will learn when you will solve the questions on the Backers portal. Now let's see the objectives one by one. Are the domains clear? Let's remember them. First is related to governance, EDM. Related to governance, EDM. Then the 4 are related to management, APO, BII, DSS, MEA. 4 are there, APO, BII, DSS, MEA. Some questions will be confusing. Mostly concepts, these concepts are there. Answers are also in this. Like for example, these are the 5 domains. Answer is also lying in these 5 domains only. The only thing is at that time you are little confused when you read it, whether it is APO or BAI. Like I said, that only will come when you will practice the questions. Practice the question, application will come there. So what are the 5 domains? With governance, it's EDM. With the other management, APO, BAI, DSS, and MEA. This was main thing. Let's go through the objective ones. You don't have to remember all the objectives. We will be reading the objectives so that in the exam, if it is coming, IT infrastructure is under what? Or IT architecture, you should know under APO. A link should be there in your mind. So let's read them. For example, under the 5 objectives are there under governance. What are those objectives? We will just read. Number 1, ensuring business delivery. Finally, the business is able to deliver what it promised, ensuring business delivery. Second, governance framework. A proper governance framework is present in the organization. This is the second objective. Risk optimization. In the organization, the risks are reduced to a level that also come under governance. Resource optimization. The resources, maybe it's an employee, raw material, finance, everything should be used up in an optimized manner. That also comes under governance. Stakeholder engagements. Who are the stakeholders? The shareholders who have invested money. So those should also be engaged in the sense you are providing them quarterly reports and you are having the annual meetings in which they have a vote to right to vote. So all these are what? Stakeholders engagements, and that is also part of your governance. Just read with me. It's not possible to remember all the objectives, but a link should be there in your mind. Okay, it was under that. APO, Aligned Plan Organize. This is the second. In this, you have 14 objectives. 14 objectives. A, number 1, IT infrastructure, IT architecture, innovation is under APO. Vendors, the quality, secure, risk management, all these are under APO. All these are under APO. By reading APO, it's not like that. It is like you are having IT in the organization, the computer is there, or right person at right job. Okay, like engineers are appointed as the experts in the IT department. Computers are present. If you are at some fault, the computer is not working, this is the person you have to do. Proper hierarchy is there. All that is falling under where? Under APO. All those things related to IT assets, their structure, infrastructure, everything is coming under APO. So what is coming under BAI? Build, Acquire, Implement. What is the requirement? It's like an IT solution to a problem, BAI. So if we read requirements, what are the requirements in the organization? Where do we need IT solutions? Managing the capacity, how you will manage. Sometimes maybe new employees you need to hire, okay, for that solution. So that deal with organization and IT change, what changes it will bring. Managing the knowledge, resourceful, skillful person should be employed. Administration of assets, managing the assets, managing configuration. Now, new IT solution you have. How will you have implemented? First of all, how will you implement it? Now you have implemented, you have to monitor it also, whether it is giving the right results or not, whether it is working properly or not. So you have to admin the asset and managing the configuration. If little bit changes in the configuration are required, the results are not right, you can make the changes. So these are related to IT solutions under BAI. This is important. I have star marked it. Deliver service support. Managed operations. Service request. Service request, you can easily say ki DSS. And a service word is coming. Managed problems. You are trying to manage the problems by providing support. It's like IT department is solving the problems. IT department is providing the services. IT department is making sure there are managed operations. IT department is also making, in case of any disaster or in case of any problems, the business is continued. This is also taken care by IT department. How they can continue in the form of disaster. They may create a different site in earthquake safe area so that the data is not lost. So that is also provided by the department. So continuity also comes under DSS. Security services, the IT is trying in the department, in the organization, IT has created firewalls. IT has stopped some of the websites. You cannot go and search data on them. Security services are provided. Business process controls, like read-only access is to be given or write-only access is to be given. How much access should be related to the login ID? That also is provided by the IT department, and that comes under DSS. The main one is here continuity, the business continuity. Sometimes the question comes from here only. Disaster recovery plan comes under which domain of the this COBIT? So the answer is DSS. Okay. Monitor, evaluate, and assess. What you have to monitor? You have to monitor whether the goals set in the COBIT are in alignment with the overall objectives of the organization. What is you have to monitor the present internal controls in the organization. Are they working properly? Are they present there? You have to monitor the compliance with the external requirements. Are we following, like somebody said, are we following properly the SEC guidelines? Is the person who is auditing our firm, is he a CPA or not? Is he a registered CPA? All these things, the compliance of external requirements also you have to monitor. There should be a managed assurance. Just give me a second. Okay, so these were the objectives under MEA, the main one. Now, whatever IT governance system, the design you are selected, there are 11 design factors which you should consider before planning any IT solution. It means this. Whatever under COBIT for IT assets, you have selected a solution and you're implementing it. These are the 11 design factors you should consider. For example, enterprise strategy, whatever the design is, like they always say, it should be in alignment with what is of the enterprise strategy. The strategy, the goals of the enterprise should be taken care of whenever you are drafting any strategy. I have written here cost leadership of product differentiation. These strategies we will discuss in the other module, not here. Yes, we have discussed the MEA here. Conformance monitoring management, system of internal controls. You have to monitor whether internal controls are present or not. External requirements, it should be in alignment with the external. So monitoring part mostly will be coming here. Monitoring, evaluating, and assessing. Okay, so enterprise strategy is the first thing. Then enterprise goals. Your strategies, your goals should be in alignment with the enterprise goals. I've written here the enterprise goals can be financial, like we discussed yesterday, return on asset, profits, financial figures, or it can be non-financial, 5-star rating, 4-star rating, learning curve of 80%, 90%. These should also be supported by your IT in alignment. Third is risk profile. Risk profile of the organization. How much risk exposure is there? What is the risk appetite of the organization? For example, in our organization, we are dealing in the transactions like mostly the transactions are worth $10,000 or above. So if there is a fault of $1 or $2 or $5, it doesn't matter much to us. We need not to investigate in those cases. This is our risk appetite. That much of risk we can bear. So what is the risk exposure of the organization? Sometimes, like I said, there are a lot of external regulations which are applicable to your organization. In those cases, the risks become higher. So accordingly, as per the risk profile, we should plan the IT strategies. Sorry, the little one is not well, so it's okay. So risk profile is how much risk exposure of the organization, what is the risk appetite of the organization, and accordingly we should plan our IT strategy. Suppose the our risk appetite is $100. The fault is of $50. Still you are applying the IT strategy, you are wasting the money on that. It will not solve the purpose. So it should be clear in our mind. The risk profiling should be done. IT issues. What are the IT issues in the organization? Maybe there are poor controls in the organization. The passwords and all are easily acceptable and easily trackable. Insufficient IT resources are there. We don't have that much of printers, laptops. And there are link between the IT department in the organization and other departments. The communication gap is there. Proper communications are not there. Okay, so the data which is being collected, the quality data is not there. That is also creating a problem. So check for the IT issues. That is the fourth thing. Threat landscapes. Threats are always from external environment. If it is about internal environment, it will be known as weakness, strengths and weakness of the organization. Threats are always from outside. What are the threats? Like COVID is a threat, natural. Government is changing. Earlier, the government was supporting the industry in which you are. Now they are totally against it. The political pressures can be there. Recession. Overall economy is going down. That is also a threat. Sometimes threats are industry specific. For example, it is just for the banking industry or it is just for the pharmaceutical industry. So we will check the threat landscapes. Compliance requirements. There are levels. High level of compliance is required in banking sectors, insurance sectors, because they have a lot of information related to your personal life, personal assets. So in those cases, high compliance requirements are required. In case of any other simple, let's say a departmental store or something, they may be hardly having your phone number, that's it. So in those cases, low compliance may be required. Role of IT in your organization. It can be a supportory role, it can be a factory, it can be a turnaround or strategic, divided into 4 categories, the role of IT. Support means just a single IT department in the organization who is looking after the IT works, some of the IT works, not that of critical nature. It's a factory where the IT solutions are dwelt. In those cases, compliance. It's compliance. Factory, IT solutions are made. In those cases, it may be critical IT involvement. Turnaround. Otherwise, in our organization, this kind of package or software is not required. We are just testing it. We may or may not implement it. That means it's not that critical. Strategic. This IT solution is part of your strategy, the main strategy. It means it's critical. So the role of IT. Oh, compliance means following it properly. For example, if I am following the SCC, SEC guidelines are there. They say every year we should provide this report, quarterly we should provide this report, and before end of the year the report should be submitted. We are complying to those requirements. We are following those. Sourcing model of IT, like whether we should have a in-house IT department or we should outsource the IT services to some expert, or we should use a hybrid approach. That all comes under sourcing the model of IT. In-house is built in-house, outsourced like cloud-based. I am using the services of Dropbox. I do not want to purchase the storage, IT storage. So I am using the services of cloud, maybe Dropbox, maybe. So this is outsourcing. IT implementation methods. How should I implement it? Should I follow the Agile approach? In Agile, what happens is Agile means small part implementation, checking it is working properly. Then another small part implemented, checking if it is also working properly. As soon as you're developing small parts, you are implementing them and checking whether they are working properly. So agile is like this always. It's like a spiral. Continuous job, you're developing, implementing, okay? So in this case, IT implementation is slow, part-wise, and if there are defects, today it will be, tomorrow I can correct them also. Organizing or cross-function. Okay, what is the other way? This is the one way, agile development method is mentioned here. What is the other way? Other way can be, first of all, I have strategize the full software in the organization. This is the first way. After strategizing, I started developing the full software of the organization. Then I implemented that full software. By the time I know the defects, full software is developed. It may have taken 6-7 months. After that, after implementing, I came to know the defects. So when are you correcting the defects? After 6-7 months. And at that time, bringing the changes may be difficult. In agile approach, I developed a small part in 2-3 days. I implemented after 2-3 days. I checked whether it is working properly or not. I corrected immediately. Within a week, the correction is also happening. So that is a better way actually. Developing operation methods combine software development with IT operations. How come? You are planning, thinking logically what is required, the planning phase. Then you are coding it, that this IT solution, the work should go from here, the coding proper is done. Then finally, you will be building it. After building the software, you will test it. If it is working properly, you will pack it. After that, you will release that software. And after releasing that software, you will see it is working, operating in the facilities, and then you will be monitoring it. So otherwise, these are the full steps. Under Agile, these steps are applied for a small part. Otherwise, you will be developing full software, then applying these in a sequence. Waterfall method is the traditional method. This is like one phase at a time, which we are saying that first of all, we will create a strategy for the full software. Then you will make the coding for the full software, then design of the full software. That is your waterfall approach, traditional approach. But what is the drawback? Verification and monitoring in this case is possible only after the completion of full software. Timely mistakes cannot be seen. Fourth is the hybrid approach. Hybrid approach is a combination. Some parts you can do using agile method, and for some parts you are using the waterfall method, so hybrid. Technology adoption strategy. What is the strategy of the organization? Are they the first mover? As soon as, let's take example with the phone, iPhone. There are some people who will purchase the iPhone as soon as it is out. Today is the first day the iPhone is there. Some are going and purchasing it. Those are the first movers. Some will say, let's wait for a week. For a week, I will wait. After 1 week, they saw the reviews. If the reviews are good, they will purchase. Follower mover. We call them follower mover. There are some who are really very slow. Some topics you will see they are in the Becker's question. So I have incorporated those also. And some are important for the knowledge of the other concepts. That's why also I have incorporated in the notes. Okay. So technology adoption strategy, either you can be a first mover or you can be a follower, or third is the very slow. You are waiting for 5-6 months for full reviews, and after that you are purchasing the iPhone, so you are a slow adoption. Enterprise, the size is small, medium or large. What is the size of the organization? Small. This is just a number I have taken. Like this, the numbers can be there. Like if you have 50 employees, you have a small organization. If you have employees more than 50 until 250, you are a medium organization. More than 250 employees, you are a large organization. So that was all about COBIT core. COBIT core is having a lot of things. Objectives are there, factors are there, design factors are there. So go through this COBIT core today. It's really important. Okay, just go through it once. Okay. Next is data lifecycle. It is on page number 624. Data lifecycle. From starting to the end of data. When does the data start? When you create it, you yourself is writing, or online some information came to you, that is data creation. After that, a number of steps will come. How many steps are there? Total 8. And the 8th step is data purging. Data purging means deletion, removal of data completely. No more it exists. That is data purging. Let's see what are the various steps. First is data creation, acquisition of data, data entry. That comes under data creation. Once the data is there, it's your job to clean the data. That is data maintenance. You are cleaning it. Are you generating any new information? No. No new information, you are just cleaning it. How will you clean it? You will remove the duplicate entries. Okay, you will make some corrections if errors are there. That is cleaning of data. After the data is cleaned, comes the data synthesis, providing the logics. Now, when you are providing the logics, the information starts coming. So, in providing logics, the judgments you use, for example, you may find a relation x plus y is equal to z. That is data synthesis. Now, after that, data analytics, data analysis, trying to find out some patterns. For example, sales minus cost of goods sold is equal to profit. How will you come to know about this? You are analyzing the data. Then you may say the customers who are having more than $10,000 per month salary, they are our main customers. How come you know about this sentence? Because you have analyzed the data. That is data analysis. After the analysis of the data comes the data usage. Now everything is set. Whatever information you have required is generated under data analytics. Now comes data usage, finally using the data which you have generated. After using publication, data publication. For example, your annual reports, that is a data publication. Data publication is there. After that, after publication, now time is to store that information so that you can use that later. For example, the companies may try to maintain last 10 years of data. So data archiving of last 10 years, sales and everything, you are archiving, data archiving. After that, after 10 years, now it has become useless, not required anymore. You will purge it, delete it. Data purging is also very important. When data purging happens, data purging is done in case of really very secretive issues also. You don't want anyone to read that thing. You will delete it. It's better to delete. If some information is really, let's say, harmful for some person, please delete it. If that has become really useless, the information is really useless now, why to block a storage space? Delete it. So deletion will come. So there is data creation. After creating the data, clean it, data cleansing. After that, data synthesis. No more information you are adding. You are trying to draw patterns in that data synthesis using your logics and judgment. After that, by forming some calculations and all, you are trying to read some patterns, that is data analytics. After that comes data usage. After using, you publicly also give that data. Data publication. Data archiving is storing of data, and data purging is removal of data. Okay, so these are the steps. After that, now we have read two things. One is data synthesis, and the other was data analytics. Both look same. So what is the difference between these two? What is the difference between these two? Let's say here I have written sales. Sales of year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and year 5. And sales are 300, 400, 500, 200, and 100. Then we have profits. And profits are, let's say, 100, 50, 200, 50, 10. These are the profits. Data synthesis. If I am trying to find total sales, I will add all these, add 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1500 is the total sales. This is data synthesis. Okay. Now, I can create one more and I can create a relation, already existing relation, sales minus profit is equal to cost. And I'm calculating that here. Then I'm adding that here with the same data. And let's say it's coming 900. This deduction, combination, these are also data synthesis. These are also data synthesis. Then what is data analytics? When you can actually answer some of the questions. For example, if you are looking for the what is profit percentage? What is the profit percentage? You have to follow steps now for this particular. You will take all the total sales. You will minus all total costs. And then you will divide it by the total sales into 100. This will give you, this is data analytics. When you are trying to find an answer for particular solution by following a particular formula, not by simple addition or deletion. Ma'am, how to collect data in organization like monthly sales, manufacturing required, raw material expenses, these types or not? That is also data. Any information is data. Sales, like I have written here, sales is also a data. Costs are also a data. Everything is this, which you are saying, this is also data. How will you get the information about the cost? You will get from your bills and all. And once you have uploaded, that becomes data. Now, let's start from the first step, that is data capture. Now, data capturing can be with or without consent. With consent, I told that person that I need information from you. So I took an interview or I gave him a form in which he is writing it. Okay. For example, I have given mortgage applications. You are submitting to the bank. What is this? The data is captured with the consent. Without consent, passively also the data is captured. For example, GPS, phone tracking. These are without consent data capturing. Technologically also the data is captured. Facebook, sometimes what happens now, if you will go on some social media site, suddenly it will keep on showing the items which you have left in the cart on some website. You will like one video, it will start showing you similar videos. What is happening? How come they know you like it? Because they have captured the data. So technically also your tastes and preferences are captured by the software. Personally, one-to-one, through emails, phones, WhatsApp, one-to-one can also be captured. So this is all the ways of capturing the data. After that comes the data maintenance, in which you have data cleansing, cleaning the data. In data maintenance, are you generating information? No. Data is being converted into a better data. No information is generated. Data cleansing, removing the inaccurate data, outliers or the missing field data, you are removing it or you are asking for the information again so that the data is consistent. Mostly for this missing field information, star mark is there. That this is a must information. If you want to submit the form, you have to fill this information. Matching the data with the source document. This is also a step under data maintenance. Is the data converted into information? No, it's converted into a better data, but when you're matching it to the source document. Correcting the format is a better data. Next comes data synthesis. Additions and deductions you are doing to the data, that comes under data synthesis only. Synthesis of data help us in reading patterns and estimates. Like I did, sales minus variable cost, sales minus profit is variable cost. So that is a pattern. I have just added or deleted. Say if you are adding or deleting the data, means consolidating or reduction of data, that all comes under data synthesis. So is the information created in this step? Yes, information is created. Data synthesis is the process of bringing data together to identify the patterns. Synthesized data can be used. You can use this data to predict, to estimate, to forecast customer saving patterns. So these are some of the examples for which you can use the data synthesis. Predict customer buying patterns. Estimate sales figures for coming quarter. You can estimate easily. Forecast customer saving patterns. Understanding relationship. Data maintenance. Under data maintenance, there is one step, that is data cleansing. It is same thing. It is same thing. Data maintenance is a broader concept. One part under that is data cleansing, when you are removing the unwanted figures. Data transformation. Same data is there. You are writing the same data in the form of flow chart, same data as pie chart, same data as bar chart. That is also visual transformation. That is also data synthesis. Data reduction, elimination of some of the variables. Earlier, the information when you collected through the form, it was about age, area, sex and salary, everything you collected. Then later on, you realized sex and salary information is not required. You deleted those two variables. This data reduction is also part of data synthesis. So data consolidation, data transformation, data reduction is also part of data synthesis. Only relevant variables are captured with more precision. Repetitive variables are deleted. Incomplete variables, too much missing figures, they will be deleted. Backward variable elimination is there. Okay. There are two ways of elimination now, what they are saying. One is backward variable elimination, in which first of all, you have collected the information for 4 variables. Okay. A plus B plus C plus D. Then you feel like D is not that worth. So you try to delete D. Now you have ABC. This is backward variable elimination. What is forward variable elimination? Forward means I just will add those variables which I think is important. A is giving me good results, so I have to keep A. A plus B is also giving good results. This is also effective, so I will keep B also. If I add A plus B plus C, is it making it more efficient? No. So I will not add it. Means you are adding the variable which you think is valuable. In backward reduction, first of all, you added all, you are deleting the variable which you think doesn't have any value. That data reduction is something else. That cleansing of data is for incorrect information. Incorrect or duplicate information, that data reduction is under data cleansing. Here, data reduction, you have collected good information only, but now you feel may not be required. There is a difference in collecting good information and not required information. So this data reduction is mostly that it is not required for your results, that data reduction. Okay, next step was data analytics, reading to analyze. Example, reading the pattern, reading the equations, like I calculated the profit percentage, finding the relationship between marketing and sales. That means under data analytics comes your correlation. How come they are related? If I am spending more on marketing, more sales are happening. This is drawing a pattern analysis. if I'm increasing the prices of the goods, the sales will be reduced. This is also again establishing a relation and defining it. Analysis, data analysis. If I spend 20,000 or more on marketing, like I have given the example, the sales will increase by $1 lakh. This is an equation we have generated under data analytics, reading the patterns. After that, you will use the data for the decision making. This is simple. Data publications, like I said, you for the users, you are issuing the reports. Annual reports is what it's a data publication. Data archival, storage of data should be easily accessible. Today you are storing the data. It should be stored in such a manner that if tomorrow you need it, the retrieval is also easy. Data purging is deletion of the data. It is no more required. For security concern, it is better you delete the data. The data can be harmful if stolen by somebody, so delete it. So that comes under data purging. For example, as per the labor laws, you have to keep the data of the employee sheets and all for 10 years. So in the 11th year, you can delete that record. Sometimes it's a very sensitive data. In that case, please delete it before it is misused by somebody. Archiving and record retention. Why you want to keep the records? One is for your own personal organizational use. Second is because this archiving is required by law. By law, like I said, labor law wants to keep the records of the labor for 10 years. Similarly, HIPAA may require to keep the taxation departments may require to keep the information for some years. One is for you, it's your decision for organizational use you want to archive. Second is for the compliance requirement. Companies should have policies in place how long that data is to be kept, after how many years the data should be deleted, the expiration date should always be there. Organization needs can be like, we need it for the accounting purpose. We need the data to make the financial statements. We need last 5 years data for budgeting purpose. Performance reports we want to generate, we need data for that, forecasting, estimating. These are your internal requirements in the organization for which you are keeping the data. Regulatory frameworks like IRS. IRS is nothing but the revenue services. So taxation related, labor laws, as SEC. If you are dealing in the public funds, you are issuing shares, the SEC guidelines will follow you. You have to keep the records for 10 years or 7 years related to payroll, financial statement and all. So you have to follow the regulatory considerations. Sometimes to maintain an audit trail, yes, let's say there is information about X plus Y is equal to Z. This is there. Now, information about Z is relevant. Okay. Information about X is also relevant. But somehow to maintain the audit trail that you added Y figures, that is why Z is, it's not required individually, but to maintain the audit trail, you are adding Y also. This is what they meant by the audit trail. Number of, for example, you want to keep the number of failure attempts to access data, how many times it failed, so that tomorrow you know right person was trying to log in or somebody else. Number of successful backups. If there is unsuccessful, why you were successful. Number of violations of the legal and regulatory requests. Cost of penalty and the fines paid by the organization. These are the sum which you want to keep at track. Okay. Before starting this IT protection, let's take a break for 2 minutes. This IT protection wala NIST, this is on page number 629. Page number 629. जितने भी frameworks and all these frameworks, these are guidelines. Everyone is saying, let me give one guideline so that I have my name, so that I can do something good in the industry. They are actually very effective. And why these guidelines came up? It's not like somebody was sitting and they thought of making the guideline. No. There were frauds happening in the organization. A number of times, fake companies have been created. The public funds have been misused. So Over the years, to overcome those problems, these frameworks came into picture, and they're actually very helpful. Mostly for the new beings, the startups or the companies which are using in sensitive information. Sensitive information can be like related to defense, related to health, insurance, or so IT influenced, like we have Infosys and all, they also need good IT infrastructure. These guidelines should be present and a proper access controls, everything should be there. Why? Because the threats and the chances of fraud are there. So over the years, they have developed these provided. And guidelines, these guidelines are not mandatory. You can't, because these are not law. These are not like you are making the statements as per US GAAP, so you have to follow them. Not like that. It's a guidance. It's voluntary. Whether you want to accept or not, it's up to you. Okay. So IT protection and security. National Institute of Standards and Technology, also known as NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technology, also known as NIST. This cyber framework, it was given by US Department of Commerce. Who gave this? US Department of Commerce. It is a cyber security. Cyber is like online, these things are happening. So cyber security framework, it's a voluntary framework. Let's repeat again. It's a cyber security framework. It's a voluntary framework. It's not mandatory. It was given by US Department of Commerce, and it is NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technology. Cybersecurity framework. Cybersecurity policies to deal with the outside threats and attacks like ransomware. What is ransomware? Somebody will encrypt your file and then he will demand ransom for the same. He will say, pay me these many dollars, only then I will give you the decryption key. That is ransomware. So these policies mostly were generated to deal with the outside threats and attacks. How to protect organizational data, networks, and IT assets from the threat. COBIT was mostly for the IT assets of the organization. Here, this NIST is talking about the data, networks, IT assets, everything involved in that chain. What are the steps which are to be followed in this? First, they say what are the various steps? It starts from identifying the vulnerable areas in your organization. Identify which are the vulnerable areas. Number 2, out of those, which required protection and how the protection can be provided. After that, third, try to detect the threats and breaches. Number 4, how to respond. Now you have found the threats and all. What are the policies or how to respond those threats? That will come under respond. After responding, now it's better you recover from that damage. So the recovering phase will come. So first of all, you identify the vulnerable areas in the organization. Then you try to find the way to protect those areas who need protection. After that, after providing that, you still try to detect if there are any threats and all. After providing that protection, if there are, try to respond to those threats and then try to recover. So this is the cycle, and it is a continuous cycle which is to be followed in the organization. In identifying the vulnerable areas, you have to understand the organization first. What kind of organization is, what is the organization hierarchy, who are the persons who are employed, the ethics of the person, the ethics of the top level management, the various systems and processes in the organization, the work of the organization, means overall picture of the organization so that you are able to find the vulnerable areas. After that is the protecting. How can you protect them? What are the safeguarding controls, access controls? Is encryption better? Shall we back up the data? Because what is the, suppose in the first step, you find out that the vulnerability is that we are in earthquake prone area. So how will you protect? Select some earthquake safe zone and have one unit there. Data backup is also helpful in this case. On some other site, you have a computer where the data is being backed up. training of the employees. If the vulnerable area is that the employees don't know how to operate a software, provide them proper training. So protect. After that, monitor. Whatever solutions now you have implemented, monitor them. Try to discover any threats, breaches, if there are. Try to respond to them. How will you respond? Like another, you will make the changes in the solutions maybe, or you will add some more solutions. After that, recover whatever damage has been happened. Try to mitigate and restore it. If you talk about the disaster, let's say the vulnerability was a disaster flood can happen. To protect that, you have a site on some other, let's say, to protect that, you created a site in Punjab where the data is backed up. After that, when the flood came, you realized that some of the data has gone, and you find out the last file was not backed up. The last file was not backed up and the data is gone. You will try to create on-time backup for the last files so that the next time when the disaster comes, you will respond to it by creating one more solution, online real-time backup. After creating that now, whichever file has been damaged, you will try to recover that file. Okay. Needs of the company, the vulnerable areas, the categories. We call them categories. After that, who will do it? Management or the technical staff, that is maintained under the subcategories. This is on page number 629. Let's read the last para. These functions define high-level framework and are further subdivided into categories and subcategories. By categories, they mean about the company's need, the vulnerable areas. By subcategories, they are talking about the management or the technical staff who will solve those problems. And finally, informative references, the various methods, the practices, the rules, the guidelines which are available in the market, which you can refer, is the informative references. Okay, let's read the illustration 4. This is on page number 631. Illustration 4 and 5. Let's read both of them. 4. Falcon CPAs and Associates is a large accounting and IT auditing firm that has several clients for which it provides bookkeeping, tax work, IT services. Falcon decided to run a scan using its new NIST-based security software for a client. The application scans various applications, devices, generating a report with the findings. The report came back with high-risk employee behavior, high risk, and the use of high-risk devices as potential red flags. The devices are also high risk, employees are also high risk. The employee behavior included access to records on the weekends and after business hours. After business hours also, they can log in and have access to the information. They can provide some sensitive information to somebody else also. The use of high-risk devices included excessive use of USB. USB is the best way in which you can steal the information that were being plugged into the network to transfer data. Both were related to a single individual who was later determined to be stealing employee banking information from the payroll department outside of the normal working business hours. So what is this? This is the detection. This is the kind of threats are available. You are scanning them. You are checking the vulnerability. And when you are checking the vulnerability, you find out two problems. Now, this is detection. After that, now you will generate a solution for them. Illustration 5. Detective measure as a deterrent. A locked door on an empty house is a preventive measure. If the criminal knows no one is home, the criminal is free to break the lock and steal from the house. If the same locked door has a webcam pointed at it to identify the thief and simultaneously alert the police, the presence of the camera may actually deter the thief from breaking into the house. The camera is not a preventive measure. It does nothing to stop him, but because the thief can see the detective measure put in the place, the camera may deter the crime. Okay. See here. This lock on the door, it is a preventive measure. How come? Is it stopping the person from entering the house? Type yes or no. This lock is stopping the person from entering the house? Okay. It is helping. Yes. It is stopping the thief from entering the house. Do the thief need to take any action against it? Yes. He may have to break it. He may have to unlock it. Action is required. Okay. What about this CCTV camera? It is there. Is it stopping him from entering the house? Or he can enter? He can ignore and enter. He can still enter. He can ignore it and enter. What will happen? Later, he can get find out and police can catch him. Something like that can happen. But technically, it is not preventing. It is just deterring. It is just deterring. If he sees there is a webcam, he can cover his face and go inside. He can cover his face and go inside. So this is the difference they are trying to show here. Lock is a preventive measure. This camera can be useful later on to detect the person. It's more of detective nature. And it can act as a detriment also. Means it can delay the stealing. It can delay the stealing. The thief can take 4 to 5 minutes to think whether he should steal or not steal, or he can go without stealing, but it's his option. There is a detriment only, but mostly it acts as a detective control. It acts as a detective control rather than a preventive control. Okay, security controls. The controls which provide security to the stored information, IT assets, and organization are security controls in your organization. When you are entering the company, you need your tag, employee tags. When you are logging in, when you are logging out, that is also control. After logging in also, if you are working in some particular department, you can use the ID to enter that particular building only. In the another building which they want to keep more secure, you may not have the access to enter. So these are all security controls. After that, reaching your place or in reaching your desk, you have to put your login ID, your passwords, and then your login ID password provide you limited access. There are CCTVs everywhere. What are all these? These are the security controls. Vulnerability scanning. Vulnerability. Before anything bad happens, what is wrong? Okay. This example is very interesting. You have the iPhone. If I try 1-time password, 2-time password, and 3-time password, after 3 times, a message will pop up. You cannot enter the password anymore. It is locked for 5 minutes. Okay, so now if you want to put the password again, you have to wait for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, again, if you are putting the wrong password, only once, again the message will come. No more access. You can put the password now after 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, if you are again putting the wrong password in the iPhone, it will show your iPhone is locked. And there is no way of unlocking this iPhone now. No password is allowed. Even if you are the right person now, still you cannot put the password now. The memory will be erased. Either now you can do the factory settings that will erase the full phone. Why? Because it is safeguarding the information. This security control is present in the iPhones. Imagine. And why it is saying we will wait for 5 minutes, wait for half an hour. The phone is trying to look for the actual owner who knows the password. That is why he may feels like the other one has gone for some work. He will be returning for 5 minutes, or in half an hour, the real owner will be here. That is why he is giving this time. So this is vulnerability scanning, a proactive measure. It monitors corporate networks for unknown vulnerabilities and changes. Before anything wrong happens, they are looking for abnormalities and malicious activity. It checks and scans systems weaknesses. collect stats on password reset attempts, changes in the open ports added. So it is scanning actually for the vulnerabilities. If they are saying somebody try to put the login password for 4, 5 times, 5 times, there may be something wrong. It may tell that the financial sensitive information was downloaded by a person 3 times, 4 times. That also can raise a bar. So various scans. Now, vulnerability scans. What are the various scans? One is application-based scan. It scans for bugs, misconfiguration in application. For example, if you have a purchase order application, it will scan it fully. Do it needs updation? It will give you a pop-up that the updation is required. If the password needs to be changed, it may say that the password which you have chosen can be easily crackable. So please change your password. These are application-based scans. Port-based scans, end-to-end, port to port. What is a port? You have a USB port. Anything which let information go out or take in, that is a port. The point of connection, we call it a port. So scanning of communication endpoints. From which side the information is coming? Who is the sender? Who is the receiver? Login details. Okay, the communication addresses. Port to port scanning is done, and that is known as port-based scans. Ports are docking points that allow information to flow from one point to another. Open port, it accepts all the information. You may keep an open port or a closed port. If the open port is there, it will accept all the information, except some. If it is a closed port, it will not accept anything except these three it will accept. Similar cases in firewalls also. We will study firewalls. Some firewalls are open. Like for example, they will accept all the information except restricted. Some are closed and firewalls. They will decline everything except something. Network-based scans. When over the network, from which website, the routers used, the printers, the network area. So they scan that. If there is any vulnerability, they take the action on the scene. Device-based scan, laptop, printer, smartphone, tablet, device-based scans. Data storage and reporting, where the data is archived, database. This is like a database scan, where it is stored, who tried to access it, who is reading the old files, time at which it was opened, by whose email address it was opened. All that is data storage and reporting these scans. I have drawn this information just to gather. This picture is gathering all the scans. See, this is a laptop. On this laptop, there is one app, Apple app. This is application-based scan. This is a port here from which the information is going out and coming in, port-based scan. This laptop itself is scanned, that is device-based scan. This laptop is connected to the router, so network-based scan. So all the scans are covered here. Okay. So till now, under security controls, the first thing we have covered is vulnerability scanning, and all the topic which we have discussed, various scans and all, it is part of vulnerability scanning. The second is penetration testing. Penetrating testing. What is it? In your organization, you have created a software, and on that software now you have provided access controls. Access controls are there. You yourself have appointed one person known as the hacker, and you told him, try to hack the software as much as deep you can go, so that we know how much vulnerable our new software is. So yourself you have appointed a hacker. Now that hacker is trying to enter into the software by putting login details, then trying to access the data, delete the data, manipulate the data, transfer the data. So which all functions he can perform in your software, that is knowing the vulnerability again with the help of penetration testing. So what is penetrating testing? In this case, one hacker is planted by the organization itself and allowed to penetrate in the system. The test is to check Can third party access the information? And can he also access the sensitive information? If yes, accordingly, we make the changes in our IT system. If we are trying to find weaknesses before the actual fraud happens, it is a proactive approach. Vulnerability scanning, this penetrating testing, they're all proactive approaches. Pen tests, specific part, IT port, application, communication, video call, email, text, means they are testing whether we can a particular port, from particular port the information can be taken or given, or is it okay, can I have a control over the video call, emails and text, the personal information of the employees also. So that is coming here. Steps in the pen tests. In penetrating testing, how it works, first is the planning stage. Role playing hacker established. What are the goals of those hacker? What all type of data we are planning to capture with the help of that hacker? That is the planning stage. Second, open source intelligent gathering technique. Gathering information about the organization, about the content presence, all the general information they are trying to get. The hacker is trying to get. Open source intelligent gathering technique. Third, threat modeling and vulnerability. He defines the target and maps attacks. Like I said, he can decrypt some, encrypt some of the information. He can delete some of the information. All those actions now he will take on that information after penetrating, and he will try to check what all can he do. Exploitation. They will try to see how far they can go into the system. Exploitation. The goals they have done, but now how far they can go. Can they do the activities beyond that also? If yes, highly vulnerable the software is. Post-exploitation risk analysis. After that, you analyze what is the situation of the software, what are the risks, and now how you can improve them with the help of recommendations. Yes, they should be there. They must be in the book. It is given in the form of a para. No? When you will read it, some of the information, it is in the form of para. Read it at home, you will get it. Hai na? Like I said, these notes are little elaborated in the form of charts and pointers so that you are able to remember some of the points. Hai na? Otherwise, if you will see in the book, it is just one para. Okay. So what we did in the pen testing, there is a planning phase, then open source intelligent gathering techniques, what techniques we should use, then what are the threats, how vulnerable it is, you are planning the attacks and all. After that also exploitation, how far you can go in those attacks. And then finally the recommendations. Biometrics. Biometrics is also one of the security control. Face IDs are used, eyes, retinas are used, then thumb is there. Whenever your body parts like face, eyes, thumb, they are used for the scanning, we call them biometrics, using physical attributes as control. Example, retina scanning, thumb matching, face detection. Access control, this is also a kind of access control. What are the steps under this? Very general. First of all, you have to record your attributes. The attributes, one first loaded in the system. When you are purchasing a phone also, first of all, it will store your thumb impression. Only then later on, it will become your login. Then it will be cross-checked. Then mostly this biometrics, it's costly. The software is very expensive. So mostly it is used in the law enforcement, forensics, FBI, Department of Justice, Defense, privacy concerns, wherever there are privacy concerns. In those cases, these things are used. It is costly. Multi-factor authentication, I have told you. After putting email password, still they are asking for OTP. Third factor is there. So we call it multi-factor authentication. After that, there are firewalls. Firewall is present in your laptop, in your computer. It's a software. Hardware devices are also available, but those hardware devices are used in the big organizations. Generally, it is in the form of software application. What is the purpose of this firewall? It is like a filter. Firewall is like a filter. Whatever packages of data are coming in, they are checked and then allowed to come in. Whatever part the packages are going out, they are checked by the firewall and then go out. So it's like a filter. It prevents unauthorized access into organization network. It prevents employees from downloading malicious information. Basic packet filtering firewalls analyze network traffic, data communicated, and difference whether firewall is allowed to accept it or not. If it is a basic packet filtering, they will check from which website it is coming. The IP address it will check. What is the information in it? It will check. And then if those words are missing in that information, if the IP address is okay, it will allow you to download the information. In the organization, are you able to open the social websites? No, I don't think so. Are you able to use YouTube and all? No. Why? It's blocked with the help of firewalls. Circuit level gateways. Okay. एक तो basic packet filtering firewall होगी. Second is circuit level gateways. It checks source of the packet, the IP address, the TCP, transmission control protocol, and IP is what? Internet protocol. The circuit level, the source of the packet from where it is, only that is checked by the circuit level gateways. Then you have stateful multi-layer inspection firewall. It's a combination of above two. It is checking the packet also. Packet filtering is also there. What is there any keywords in that packet? The data. It is checking the TCP and IP also. So it's like combination of basic data filtering and circuit level gateways. After that, you have network address translation firewall. It scans external device on network, example, router and all. Suppose the router is attached in your network area, and with the help of that router, external parties are also able to attach to your organizational network. So through routers. So that is also translated. A firewall is there. Who can access, not access, those things are there. Next generation firewalls. Next generation firewalls, they say, for one particular work, I need one kind of firewall. For another application, I need another type of firewall. Okay. So different works, different firewall settings. That is also possible today with the help of next generation firewalls. Different applications, different firewall settings possible. I'll share with you the firewall settings present in the laptop. Everyone can see the screen. Is the screen visible? Okay. So look here. Domain network, the main network, the firewall is on. Private network, like in home, I have a Wi-Fi, firewall is on. Public network is active, firewall is on. If suppose I went to a mall, I'm using my laptop there, at that time also the firewall is on. This firewall will protect my laptop from any malicious or viruses and all. It will give me an alarm that something is there, so you should not download it or upload it like that. Just a second. Okay. So, and now see further, this is a software in the laptop and we call this a firewall software. Allow an app through firewall. You want a particular app to go. This is what app-based firewall. Network and internet troubleshooter. It's related to network mostly. The network, online, internet, if there is something. You want to change the firewall notification settings, that you can do. So this is a software and this is a firewall. It must be present in your laptops also. You can check also. Okay. So after firewalls now, the next is the access controls. I don't think it is difficult, the access controls. In your organization, the access control is given role-based. In some rooms, in buildings, every employee is not allowed. CO can go everywhere. So role-based access control is there. Attribute-based, the means based on attribute is was the nature and the character of the employee. Based on that also, within directors, there are 7 directors. Out of those, one is having more access because the company is more comfortable, because company have more trust on him. The others don't have. That is attribute based. Discretionary, as owner wants. Doesn't matter whether you are a good person or bad person. Discretionary, it's the discretion of the owner he will give. Mandatory, for some controls should be there. Access controls, sensitive information. Can you give the health information to everyone even if the owner wants? No. Why? Compliance come. Mandatory. In some cases the access is control is mandatory. So access control can be role based, can be attribute based, it can be discretionary as the owner wants, or it can be mandatory like the HIPAA guidelines and all. Okay. Let's try the MCQs at the back. MCQs, these are on page number 635. How many of you don't have the physical books yet? How many of you do not have the physical book yet? Okay, I'll try to write the question here. Question number 1. A large company recently decided to implement new security practices. What are they trying to? They are trying to implement new security practices. In response to recent findings from a cybersecurity firm, it hired to determine any security weaknesses. Why they want to have this? Because there are some security weaknesses found. One of the recommendations was to start using software that tests the system, searching for known weaknesses in the security, such as application-based or network-based scan. One solution they are saying is application or network-based scans should be started. What type of cybersecurity protection it is? Now you have to tell what type of cybersecurity is. Number 1, penetration testing. Okay, what is penetration testing? You are having a hacker appointed, and that hacker is trying to penetrate in the system. In this example, anywhere have you heard the word hacker, penetrating, knowing? Is there any of those words? No. So penetration is the wrong answer. Let's see B. Vulnerability scanning. Were the softwares or the apps scanned to know the weaknesses, the threats and all? Something like that happened and they're talking about it? Yes, I have heard the words in the question. So yes, I'm writing here. Still, let's read C and D. C, biometric scan. What they're talking about? Eyes, retina scanning, thumbprint scanning. No, nothing like that. So C is definitely not right. D, access control. They are asking about email ID, password, access control as per the level of in the organization hierarchy, something like that. No. So the right answer is B. Vulnerability scanning is something which is taken care in this question. Let's try the question number 2. Optimum Financial Planners publishes investment research for several different industries and has a team of financial planners that advise hundreds of clients. It administers quarterly surveys to determine investor expectations and strength that it then used to give to its planners so that they can give investment advice. Optimum recently found an error in the survey collection. What happened? There is an error in survey collection. If there is an error in the survey collection, this is an error in data capturing. In the survey, in the data capturing, it will affect the decisions also. So in which phase of data life cycle it will be addressed, since the data has already been released? Okay, But what are they talking about? The data has already been released. Releasing. If you are releasing the data, which step of the life cycle it is? No, think. See, they will always be confusing, but see what the question is saying. Data is released already. They collected wrong information. They synthesized wrong information. Now they have released that information. Release is under data publication. So after releasing the data now, if they are archival कैसे आ गया? Data release is data publication. So they are talking if you want to make the changes now. No, not the archival. Data archival is storage of data. You have released, so which is its data publication? It should be C. C should be the right answer. After publication, will you store the wrong information? How come it's data archival? Will you store the wrong information? You will correct it before storing it. So when you have released it at data publication, you will correct it. And before storing it at archival phase, so you will be storing it safely. Okay. Let's see question number 3. Data pre-processing. Pre-processing falls in which stage of the data life cycle? Data pre-processing. I'll go one by one in this. Okay. A is saying, let's see. Okay, first of all, let's talk about A. Data capture. Is pre-processing a part of data capture? No. Why? Data capturing is having data, no process is applied on it. So this is not right. B. Data maintenance. Data maintenance is like data cleaning. You are removing the duplicating entries and all. But is the data processed for information in there? No. So no processing is happening there even. C. So synthesis is the only option. C. Synthesis and analytics. Because actually the processing is happening here. Data purging, the fourth one is the data deletion. That is not at all the right answer. Hai? Number 4. Which of the following is not a component within the COBIT framework? Okay. Remember the COBIT framework? A COBIT tha. There were 5 domains. Hai? One was related to governance. Other were related to management. और इसमें भी कुछ कुछ ऐसे था EDM, APO, DAI, DSS, M something something, है ना? MEA, ये थे. So what is he talking? Which of the following is not a component? Publications. Okay, number 1, A. Publications. Let's talk one by one. Will publications, the reports and all, part of COBIT? Otherwise, why are you having a COBIT software? We have COSO, COBIT guidelines, so that frauds don't happen. The information is good. The communication of information is good. And communication is also a part of COBIT. So publications will also be a part of COBIT. Fine. B. Design factors. Design factors. Design factors were part of COBIT. Were we designing any software as per the needs, providing the services? Is it part of your COBIT? Yes, I can see it here. In build also, I can design something. In design here also, I can have it. So design factors will be there. C. Community input. Now, community input. That means Data, again, information which is coming in the system. Information coming in the system, good information should come in the system. Information from the right person should come in the system. Will that be there? So I think that will be there. Now let's see D, stakeholder validations. Stakeholder validations. There is a difference now. Do we communicate with the stakeholders? Yes. Giving the publications to stakeholders when you are publicly issuing the reports, that is required. That is important. But that report, the annual report, I know that it is signed by the auditor, external auditor. The report on the audit report is there, signed by the external auditor. The annual reports, they are signed by the board of directors. That board of directors are saying that everything is good. We are responsible for making these financial statements. Who is responsible for making a financial statement? Board of directors. Who is responsible for auditing and giving an opinion on them? Giving an opinion, external auditor. What about the stakeholder validation? Do stakeholders also say, yes, this is right or wrong? Do they have a say like this on the? No, they are the users. So stakeholder validations is not gonna be here. So that is something wrong. Every time there will be new components in the exam. What we have done in the COBIT, again I'm repeating, try all the MCQs on the portal. You have learned, but how to analyze them, how to apply your mind and put the right answer is very important. Go step by step in all the questions on the Becker's portal. Read all the 4 points. Do not skip any single point. Even if you know the answer that B is the right answer, still read all the 4 points. Yes, they expect returns. So whatever, they are the users. We can say they are the users. No role in validations. Okay. With this our module 2 is over. Let's take a small break of 5 minutes and then we will be starting with the module number 3. All right. Okay. Module number 2 is covered. Now it's module number 3. The full module you have to read. Hai na? Module number 2, full module, read it carefully. Okay. In module number 3 now, we will discuss the various methods of system software development. System development life cycle and process automation. It is a continuous process. First of all, it is a continuous process. Basic phases in every model, whether it is an agile model or waterfall model, there are basic steps. You want to develop a software. For what you want to develop? So you have to plan it first of all. After planning, what are the requirements? As per that, you will design it. After designing, you will start the coding and all. So you will develop the software. After developing, the testing phase comes. Test it properly. If there is everything is fine, then you will deploy the software. Deploy means giving it for the final use. So these are the basic steps. First of all, you will think, you will plan. Feasibility studies are also done in the planning phase. Whether it's feasible, finances are available, employees are available, all the decision is to be taken in the planning phase. Once it is done, you will start with the designing. With the designing, now the expenditure on the software starts. So designing phase, the architecture, the shape, the hardware is required, the software is required, the tools required, designing. Then after that, the coding, the developing of the software, testing and deployment, basic steps. It is complex. Software development is not easy. Sometimes there can be overlapping of the work. You want to develop a software for financing. For financing, accounting information, budgeting information may be required, overlapping. So you have to move to IT, those areas also. So it's complex. It is costly and time consuming. Experts in IT are required. New software versions need to be purchased. It becomes costly. Two methods are there, which we will discuss in our syllabus: waterfall approach and agile approach. To be very simple, agile means small part of the software developed, tested, released. Then again, software developed, tested, released. Waterfall means first planning phase for full software, then development phase for full software, releasing phase for full software, stepwise, not small portions wise. Waterfall is criticized because you are not able to test the software before it is fully complete. And after that, if you want to make some changes once the shop, that is also time consuming and costly. These softwares will provide automation to the business processes. That is why you are developing a software. Waterfall approach, one step at a time, means one stage at a time. Planning, full planning done, full designing done, full development done, like that. It looks like flow of water, step by step. It requires to be precisely documented and predefined. Full planning done properly, documented. Then the second phase. First phase completed, then the second phase starting, then the third phase. Phases are based on the hierarchy. A proper hierarchy is there. Accordingly, the work is done. What are the challenges? It requires great deal of time to complete. Maybe 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. Benefits of the new system not available until it's complete. Changes are difficult to manage. High risks. If it fails, the full software will fail. Risks are more, uncertainties are there. Not best choice for complex and object-oriented projects. You have object-oriented projects like ERP is there. You can develop the software for accounts receivable first. But you are following waterfall approach. So waterfall approach, you are making the planning for AR, fixed assets, inventory, everything. It is more complex. So it's better for object-oriented or complex projects, follow the agile method. Inappropriate for long-term projection. You can't project long-term. Why? Because one phase is taking 7-8 months. Till the time you will know about the uncertainties, the drawbacks, it will be 7-8 months long. So long-term projections are inappropriate. No pre-identifying of problems. Problems will be known only once it is complete and given to use, to test. Employees may be ideal until their phase begins. Now planning phase is going on for 6 months. Coding people are sitting free. Why? Because their phase has not started. So the employees may be idle for that time period. This is the steps in the waterfall approach. It starts from planning. Number 1 is plan. After planning, waterfall has divided the planning actually in 2 phases: plan and analyze. First is planning. What are your needs? What are your requirements? What you want? You do the cost benefit analysis in the planning. After that, you do the analysis. What IT solutions are, what are the problems and what are the solutions possible? You do the feasibility study under analysis, whether we have finances, whether it is economically possible, technically possible, whether it is legal. So all that is done in analysis part. The solution which you are planning, is it feasible? In planning, you are focusing on requirements. In analysis, you are focusing on the solution. Is it economical? Is it feasible? After that, once both planning and analysis is done, you design the software. You plan the blueprint. Technical design is like blueprint. Document it. After that, you develop it. The coding and all will come, developing it properly. Then you will test it. Are your business requirements met now? Are the solutions you wanted to fetch, are they achievable? After testing now, you will deploy, deliver to the end user. You will give it to the end user. Finally, you will try to maintain it If some improvements are required, you will do that. New technology has come, you will try to incorporate that. You will try to maintain that software. So under waterfall approach, the planning phase is divided into two steps, planning and analysis. Planning is meeting the requirement, analysis is feasibility study. Then you design it, the blueprint, then you develop it by doing the codings, actual codings, then you test it, then you deploy it for use and you maintain it. These are the steps under waterfall approach. There are various types of design. One is the conceptual design. Okay, like I have written, raw material cost will go into cost of goods manufactured. And then whatever you have sold out of goods manufactured, that will go as cost of goods sold. Concept behind it. Then logical design is with the help of programming and softwares required, the data required, data transformation required. The logical designs will come under this logical design programming, and the software thing, the data thing will come under logical design. Physical design, by using the actual softwares and developing the actual softwares and hardwares, how the work will be done. So if I have to give the example to differentiate between these conceptual design, logical design, and physical design. Okay. So suppose the concept is sales minus variable cost is contribution. This is the concept. Logical design is yearly sales figures will be captured for cash and credit both. Then the costs like direct material, direct labor, variable overhead, and fixed overhead, variable overhead and variable overhead of factory and variable overhead on SGA, selling, general and admin expenses, all the variable costs. These will be expenses, variable cost, and that will give you the contribution. Finally, just a second. Then comes the physical design. So how it will be done? There is a point of sale recording, and then online also, online orders minus these costs will come from where? Direct material will come from the purchasing software. This direct labor will come in login hours or payroll. And finally, variable overhead expenses, the bills and all which are collected like this. So in various designs, it will be divided. Same thing is mentioned here. Conceptual design, logical design, and the physical design of the software. What is deployment? Finally, giving it for use. Now, deployment can be done in three ways. Number one, plunge. Plunge means big bang. Full software at once. Give it to the users. That is a deployment. Rampant deployment, that give in phased manner, in rolling manner, one by one. Okay. First of all, give the sales software, then give the purchase software, one at a time. Okay. Third is A/B testing, means all the software related to one department. You have, let's say, you have, let's say, 3 subsidiaries. Okay. Full software related to one subsidiary for purchase, sale, everything you are giving to the one department, all works, testing. If it is working fine, then you are giving to the other two. That is A/B testing, the pilot testing. One more is there. Blue-green, fourth one. Blue-green testing. In this, they say, please keep old one also, because we don't know what will be the result of new one. Old one is also working, new one is also working parallelly, and in the end we will check if all is fine, then the old will be deleted from the company. So at present both are working, blue, green, old and new, both are working simultaneously. So in deployment, either full new software given to the users, big bang, it is more risky, chances of failure are more, but you are giving it. Second is rampant. You are not giving to the full software, you are giving only one portion of the software to test it. Third, A/B testing. You are giving the full software related to one particular department only so that it can be tested. Blue and green, both the software will work together. That is more safe. Second technique is the Agile framework. There are so many limitations we discussed in the waterfall approach. Some people are sitting free. The defects are known only once the fully established. Making the changes are difficult. To overcome those drawbacks and limitations, they came up the concept of Agile framework. In Agile, they divide the development as per the functions. They said divide it in the small functions. We will develop the software for one function first. It's over at 10. So in Agile framework, they divide the development of software as per functions. They have cross-functional teams dedicated to each function. In Agile, features are kept small enough to be accomplished during each sprint. Normally, the sprint is for 2 weeks. You are planning developing a software in 2 weeks and giving it to use. And if there are changes required, you are making those changes. Small features done in small time sprints. Communication between teams, within the team and others, it's very important. One thing you have given, feedback is really important. So communication is very important. The steps under Agile, again, it starts from the planning. But in this case, the planning is only one phase. Join ho gaya. Planning, analysis, and designing. All is there under planning. After that, the second phase is development. After developing, you release it for customer reviews. If the customer reviews are good, you will release it for use. If the customer reviews are not good, you will record the changes required. You will create a backlog of what customer wants, of requirements. This is the entry point of data. So it looks like this. Let me make it again. What under Agile framework happens? They need the requirements for the sprint. Requirements. This is the entry point. It creates a backlog for that requirements. Based on that, planning is done. After planning, that particular thing is developed. After developing, if it is checked for customer reviews, if it is good, the software is released for use. If it is not good, it will be given to make changes. After the changes are made, again, requirements and all will start. So it's a process. Is this clear, the Agile one? Okay. So Agile is discovering requirements and developing solutions. Backlog is always there. You are always looking for requirements, creating it through collaborative effect of self-organizing and cross-functional teams. Core values, the processes, the tools, comprehensive document, contract negotiation, following a plan, means in Agile, a lot of things are required. Small things required, small documents, you are implementing it, the tools you are using, the negotiations you are doing with the software contractors and all, everything is valuable. And all the time communications are happening. All the time communications are happening. That is why you are able to connect the requirements, test the getting the feedback. So Agile Individuals and interactions are really important. Working software is present there. Customer collaboration, feedback, you are asking for the feedback. Responding to change, any changes are required, you are responding to. So these are the core values which are provided by the Agile. What are the Agile principles? The first Agile principle is satisfy the customer with early and continuous delivery of highest priority features. It is clear, I don't think it needs any explanation. This is what Agile is. Second, welcome the changes. This is also clear. We keep on welcoming the changes. What are the changes required to meet the customer needs? And how much time we have for the sprints? 2 weeks. Deliver working software frequently. After 2 weeks again, after 2 weeks again. So frequently you are delivering a working software. Complete the work requested by the customers. You keep on doing that. Feedback you are taking, making the changes, completing the work. Conduct short, frequent, regular meetings to maintain focus, and it is communication. Like I said, it's very important. You are developing a small portion. Next project is very lengthy. You have just done 1%, 100%, 99% is left. So frequent, regular meetings are very important to be on track. If you compare in Waterfall, you were planning, then you were analyzing, then you were deploying, then the customer you were planning, analyzing, developing, then you will give it for customer deployment, and then you will check if change is required, again it will come. In Agile, and also what with this diagram I have tried to make clear, one phase complete, planning complete, only then analysis started. Analysis complete, then development. But if you look at the Agile one, for sales, only one portion, planning done, it's developed, then given to customer, then changes made and backlog. Then the fixed asset comes, developed like this, in steps. So with this, the system development phases are clear. There are two, Waterfall and Agile. They are really important topics. I have tried to make charts and all so that there is a clarity. There is a clarity in the mind. You are able to. I don't think this is the right question.
Yes,
Difference between the two? Okay. Instead of
please once again repeat Agile method, ma'am. Just
okay.
meaning.
Okay. See, in Agile method, you pick a small part of the software to be developed. That small part to develop and test. If it is working properly, again you pick the another small part of the project. Means within 2 weeks, you are developing a software part, testing it and releasing it, then again. Whereas in waterfall approach, you are planning the full software first. It takes 2 months. Then after that, you are designing the full software. It may take 6
Agile
months.
software is a temporary software, ma'am.
No, it's not a temporary. It's the system development way. It's not
Okay,
a
2 weeks
temporary.
after the software replacement, ma'am.
Yes.
After is in this Agile approach method is used in 2 weeks after replacing new type of Agile method. You can say that. That's
After,
the ma'am.
after replacing,
After replacing and new Agile method is replaced or this Agile method is continue, ma'am.
no. Okay. You want to develop a software in which financial reports are generated automatically. This is the software you want to develop. For this software, the first step is that the sales are recorded. Second, purchases are recorded. Third, expenses are recorded. Okay. Then finally, this is first category. Then they are put into the ledgers. Then third, trial balance is created. Then fourth, financial reports are created using the format as per US GAAP. So first is the recording. Underwater, what I am saying is, if it would have been waterfall approach, what you would have done? If it would have been waterfall approach, you would have done full planning on how to capture sales information, expense information. Okay. Then you will discuss how to make ledger accounts. You would have discussed how to make trial balance in the planning phase and what softwares will be required that will be did in this planning. Once it is all done, you would have written the coding for all. Well, all coding in, you would have tested it. You would have tested it and the result have been annual report. This is the waterfall approach of developing a software. If you would have been following the agile one, how would you have done? You would have break in the sprints. So your first sprint is recording sales. You would have done planning for this. Then you would have decided for the software. Then you would have designed it. Then third, you would have developed it. After developing, you would have given it to the end user that this is how end user means you have incorporated in the sales, this recording sales software. Then you would have test if it is working properly. If yes, then you will move on the second, that is recording purchases. The way of development. What we are discussing, the way of development. Is it clear? Is it clear, Ashish? Yes?
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. नहीं वो भी नहीं रजिंदर okay. Now our next topic is artificial intelligence. Anyone who can tell me about artificial intelligence? What is artificial intelligence? Machine means when you are teaching a machinery to act smartly, give you answers. Like I had given example of Chat GPT. What is Chat GPT? Even if you will type, I need an essay on this, it will give you such a brilliant language and essay. Yes, robots, artificial intelligence, perfect. Yes, the art of making the machines think like humans. True. So that is artificial intelligence. Simulation of human intelligence. Expert system, natural language processing. How come you are able to say, hey Siri, open this. Hey Google, do this. They are able to hear you, process your language and reply also, Alexa and all. Expert systems are there. Nowadays, diagnosis, the disease diagnosis are also done with the help of artificial intelligence. Okay, robotic surgeries are there. People recognition is there. The face recognition. They will tell you this is the last pic. In this, you want to tag this person. Last time you tag this person, and by name they will tell. People recognition is done by the computer. So machine learning is there. Pre-fed examples. How come machine is able to learn? How come we are able to learn? Okay, when a baby is born, you keep on telling him, say mama, this is ball, this is school. How many times you repeat it in front of him, at that point, that person is lip reading, and that child, then suddenly one day, that child will say, Mama, or something. Why? You were feeding him from last so many months, Mama, Mama, that now he is finally able to speak. Same thing happened with the machines. You are pre-feeding them. You are pre-feeding them with all the examples, data, correlations, processes, equations. So much you have pre-fed in the computer that it is able to give you the answers now. How come a computer is able to diagnose a disease? Because all the symptoms, all the medicines, case histories, everything you have fed in that software. So now it can easily tell the person is suffering from this disease or something. Common artificial intelligence relevant to accounting, inference engines, business process automations, natural language processing, speech recognition, software and neural networks. These are some of the common AIs. We will discuss in detail one by one. So I'm leaving it for the meaning. Large trends, large quantity of data automatically do work. Nowadays, storage is not a problem. So much information is available on the web. Cloud is there. So it's not a problem nowadays. Now, inference engines, business process, all these, let's discuss one by one. Let's start from the inference engines. Inference, how come they are able to infer, take decisions? Why? Because all the scenarios, the outcomes, the cases, the decisions are pre-fed. So machine is fed with one existing situation and different possible casts and decisions, cases, sorry, this is cases. Different possible cases and decisions in different cases. This will automate the decision-making process. So the data which you are putting, it's like a training data. We call it training data. Based on that data, the software can give you solutions now. The provision of training data, updation, revision is machine learning. What credit card companies do? Credit card companies pre-fed with the possibilities of frauds and the types of frauds and the clues of frauds. They already pre-fed this into the computer, so that if tomorrow similar situation is appearing, it will notify the chances of fraud are here with this customer. It will notify. Business process analysis. This is, there are some repetitive tasks. Business process automation. It's like business process automation. There are some repetitive tasks on which you don't want to waste human brain. You want to give that repetitive task to the machine, and wherever decision making, better decision making is required, you are using humans for the same. So this is based on the same concept. So repetitive tasks which need one single process, nothing much, are to be automated. Automation of business processes using computer programs designed to perform repetitive task steps, examining existing processes, knowledge required for the processes, governance policies of each transactions. So these are some of the steps you follow and automate. In this automation, biggest success is the robotic automation. The robots are there. Extraction of data is also automated. Why we call him a robot? Because it's not only the pre-fed thing. Now it is learning itself. You are speaking and he is recording in his computer. You are walking, doing anything, they are recording. So extraction of data is also automated. It captures data itself from the user interface. It is a refinement of general web scraping tools, collects all relevant material surrounding it. What is happening in your FB profile, how you are liking, disliking, the new likes, the new friend, everything it is recording, extracting the data, robotic. It can mimic human interaction with many kinds of computer systems. Loss of job fear is there because of these robotic systems. Robotic surgery, if you see online now, if you see robotic surgery online, you will see the hands. How will I mention? The doctor is sitting, the doctor is, standing with a camera there, and his hands are on the machine. not on actual that knife and all, nothing. And he is acting on the machine. The robot is performing the surgery. Hana? That is the robotic surgery. But why it is gaining more of importance in kids mostly? The robotic surgery is there. Why? Because for hands to go in and do the surgery, a bigger cut is required. For robotic pin to go in, a small hole is required, and that can go inside and flexible and do the stitching and all. That has become less painful. Fast recoveries are there, so they are using it. Natural processing system. How come they are able to understand? You are speaking English, but everybody speaks a different kind of English. UK different, US different, India different. In India, different states, different type of accent. So how they are able to understand? What kind of accents are there? Syntaxes are there? Everything related to language is fed. Encode, decode, and interpret human languages, interact with humans, carry out the commands on other technology. I don't think it requires more because you are using this natural processing, Siri and all. How come it is possible? It is possible because of the mapping. What is mapping? In natural processing, the pragmatics, syntax, phonetics, pitch, tone, everything is pre-fed in the system. What is pragmatics? It is the study of relationship between linguistic forms and user of those forms. Syntax, arrangement of words and phrases. This is not in the books just for knowledge. What is syntax? Arrangement of words and phrases to form sentences. Phonetics, how to pronounce sounds. Pitch, higher pitch, low pitch, tone, kind of sound. All this is pre-fed. So they are able to communicate with the maximum of the people. You can put password voice recognition. It will listen to your voice and tone only, then it will open. So it will act only at the direction of that person only whose voice is pre-fed. Okay. Neural networks, see this. This is human brain. These are neurons. The circles are the neurons. Every time you are learning something, a neuron is created. That neuron is linked to another path if it is important. Why I have marked it red? You are studying CMA. You think external reporting is really important. This red line is the external reporting you have revised 10 times. You revised it for 10 times. The neurons have grown big in size and the path is remembered by the brain. The other neurons, you thought technology is one-time job, so they are just blue circles, small, and easily you can forget them also tomorrow. So the more you revise, the more strong the neuron structure becomes. Computer is nowadays also working on the neuron structure. Every time the computer is learning a new thing, a new neuron is created. In computer, every neuron has 3 layers. Input layer, the neuron is getting the input. The neuron is processing it and giving the output. Neuron systems. That's why they are known as neural networks. Artificial neural network, just like human brain, learns same way computer is modeled. The basic pieces of neural network involves input layer is there, hidden layer is there, which process it, and the output layer is. So 3 layers are there with every. These results again act as a relevant data for the next neuron. Output of one neuron is the input for the next neuron. So they have created the softwares in such a way that they act like a human brain now. This neural network is needed by inference engines. That is why they are able to answer as many questions. You put a question on the Google, you will get the answers, best possible answers. Mostly these are used in the fraud detection. Links are made. Last time also when the sales fall behind this level, suddenly the manager did this because of which this happens. So a neural network is built like that. Next time if something like that is happening, they will inform. Separate set of nodes are there like neurons. These nodes are individually also recognize patterns, analyze, they are grouped and one node feeds information to the another node. Simple. With this, our class is over. We'll be starting with the cloud computing next week. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining.
Ma'am, I need to ask something.
Yes.
Can you please refer the page numbers for the topics covered?
Your voice is not audible.
Can you please refer the page numbers for the topics covered?
For these topics, the page number, the artificial intelligence is on page number 643.
For all the topics covered like today.
Hmm?
For all the topics covered today.
How all the topics? See, one was module number 2. Hai okay. We have covered till page number 646. We have covered till page number 646, the neural networks. Everything we have covered step by step as per the book. It's in sequence only.
Now full chapter 6.
Yeah?
Full chapter 6, basically full chapter.
Chapter 6. It's unit 6 module number 3.
Yes.
Unit 6 is divided into 5 modules. We covered module number 1 yesterday and second half. After that of unit 6, we did module number 2 and half of 3 today. Hai na? So in module 3 till the page number 46 we have covered. Yes, the process will restart in under waterfall approach. Okay, everyone. Thank you for joining. Take care.